usually I disorient people talking with me. So that's...
We are live, just to let you know, on Facebook only, on our social media. So yeah, don't know, Marco, if you wanna, if you wanna directly introduce, or and then we can after talk a bit about where we are and about the project.
Well, if you like, I can try to say something to break the ice in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think it's important for people in the audience, which is not just an audience, because we do expect them to interact and ask questions.
Yeah.
We have Sandra, Denicke, Polcher, and Jane McAllister from London Metropolitan University. We have Nicolas Henninger from EXYZT, and we have Giuseppe Grant from Orizzontale. Three different identities. One is deeply rooted into education. Sandra and Jane, they collaborated since the beginning, if I'm not wrong, with a project in Belmont, Calabro, and they have a strong experience in taking students to unprivileged areas. So their idea of education is relying on elements of reality, as far as I understood. And I'm very interested to know what happens in that realm when students are meeting real places and real world situations. This is something that can I immediately ask you, Sandra and Jane, about it? What is the benefit to students when confronted with real world situations?
Sorry, Sandra. It's a really difficult question to answer in a way. I think we keep asking our students that, but I think the main thing that they learn is how other people think about their own environment, and I think that's super important. Whereas if you're in the studio learning through imagining drawings, imagining situations, it's merely coming from yourself. But I think our students have really benefited from speaking to all the people in the town and the village and trying to learn Italian. I think Joe actually speaks, pretty good Italian now. But I think it's that's what they bring back. And for some reason, I think our students are really hungry to go and see that and do that with other cultures. And we get a very strong bunch of them. I think, at least probably a fifth of our students actually are desperate to go away and do live projects. And we notice this. I mean, I think in a way, architecture is something that people come to because they have a background of thinking three-dimensionally and thinking with materials as well, but also thinking in a way which is about engaging with communities and other people. And I think those three things are particularly strong in the projects that we have been involved in Calabro.
And I think there is a benefit to the creation of some enthusiasm through this real engagement, which we can see. So some students are really hungry for that. And if they were just sitting in the studio and pen on paper or model making, some of them lose the kind of interest. And when they know they're actually really doing something for other people, they have so much more energy. Yeah.
Good. Not surprising that you are doing a lot of efforts in Belmont since many years. It's not surprising. Okay, then I'd like to listen from Nicolas Henninger at EXYZT. He's there in Belmont at the moment, and he's there together with our friends Rita, Elvira, Adamo, and Giuseppe Grant. They are together in a few days of meetings and workshops and lectures that are going on, as it happens, sometimes in that beautiful place. Nicolas, do you want to tell us something from there? What's happening right now?
Yeah. I'll just introduce quickly myself. Indeed, I was one of the founders in 2003 of the collective EXYZT, and up to 2013, kind of run projects. And now I'm based in UK, London, for now 10 years, and I've created my own design and construction, also little practice called Office for Crafted Architecture, OfCA. And my connection with this place now is in particular Giuseppe, who helped and who engaged with us with a couple of projects we did on Union Street in the South Bank in London, and and so he kindly, like 10 years later, I'm here, and you know, like getting in touch with this construction spirit about like taking, you know, giving some TLC, tender loving care about this place, this architecture, providing a new place for residency, to enable an infrastructure to invite people to come and take over, engage with the community, engage with the space and the material, and to learn through self-building, I suppose. And yes, my interest is, I'm really interested into this project, and because I experienced it myself, you know, like going out, graduating from School of Architecture back in 2003, was really going out there. And our diploma as a collective, before we started the activity as a collective, was actually going out of the school, and we did a live project as a final project at the School of Architecture. That was our graduation, and it was really taking a plot of land, learning how to make your own house, inhabit the space, engage with the surrounding, and then from there, we were lucky enough to create opportunities of commission here and there in different places in Europe, to pursue this experience of, you know, engaging with the public realm, engaging with the community by providing an architecture that you open up to the public. But it was really temporary, you know, like EXYZT was more like as a sort of commando, I would say. We had a very specific format of taking over a space for a very short amount of time. It was really testing. So it was really like testing a new project each time, you know, like you would do a sketch about an idea or something, but then we would use that sketch, you know, that this is what we think about, that what we could do. We do a Lido, a swimming pool, we just have 2 weeks to do it, and then we open it up, and then, well, as long as you got water in a pond, then it's a swimming pool, and then from there, these places was also building up, you know, a lot of cooking involved, you know, like food is very important. I've noticed that, especially here as well, you know. I was looking forward to come here. I said, yeah, I know this community project, so food, because it brings people around the table. So it's kind of the most simple piece of architecture you can find is the table first. And here there's a nice timber floor and a few tables, and people just get around it. And I think it's, yeah.
It's quite strange because actually, you're right, after 10 years, it was just the occasion to, so I'm kind of a caveat of this, the topic of our conversation, because we are talking about like educational kind of experience in how to maybe transform the education in a kind of more similar to an experience. So I did this experience 10 years ago with you. Of course, there's something related to the education of architecture in general. Maybe, and so now it's very strange that I can say it was a really good experience. I mean, it was really important for me working with you, and test more than the design aspect of the learning architecture, studying architecture. It's more like how it can be part of a bigger sense, you know, how to make the sense of doing architecture bigger, in the sense of having the possibility to make new relation, or also understand how relation can work in this kind of little society during a period of construction as a maybe the excuse something, because as you said, we did a lake, we did a pond. Yeah, of course it's important, but it was like such a playful theme. It's not really important what you do in terms of space. You are making a place for people. It's like also a place how the process, the time to build the place, and the place itself become a sort of academia, a sort of place where to found a new kind of how can say place of negotiation, between people, between like how to negotiate also
to work as a team, to work as a team. I think I suppose that from your experience from the university, I suppose you also you're aware, like students joining in the first years of architecture BAs. I remember I was quite young, and to engage with live project is also building up some character and understanding and getting creating this relation with other colleagues, working together, and to build up this character before getting all the design inputs. You want to know who you are and how you react with a situation, or you react with material in your hands,
and to meet the unexpected probably also. So Nicolas, let me ask you something to also help us feeling there in Belmont, since we are not there, unfortunately, what the mood was about today, what is happening in this moment in Belmont, and what about the food? Did you like it?
So I arrived yesterday about like midday, and the mood here is very busy. I like that because the first thing when you arrive there, you see material on the main square, and people working, cutting some wood, some timber. You feel it's quite interesting, because it's one of, when you arrive from outside of Belmont, it's one of the first house. So that's how you're welcome. So I was wondering, so I had plenty of questions. Said, how your neighbors doing? I said, okay, like half of them are happy, some other are still questioning what we're doing here. But yeah, the mood here is it's quite warm, but everyone is just working, and there were some achievements between yesterday and today. There were a terrazzo wall, which is just around the corner here, so they kind of focused on this, and before I left and came back, there's a new beach now of sand just behind me, so things are happening quickly, and people are along the wall to install the electrics, and they are like teams, and I mean, it reminds me that exactly the sort of experience and I had, like collective experience while building a project, and that and it's great. So because I arrived yesterday, a bit of time to meet everyone, and chat with like a few people to know, are you architects? So it's also not everyone is architects, so it's quite a mix of people. So that's really great. And the food was all organized.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Perhaps it is important for me perhaps it's important for me to frame the topic for this conversation, or at least what the topic was supposed to be. Maybe we are free to go elsewhere, and that will be also enjoyable. So academy, not academy. So the idea for this conversation, as I understood it, is to address and maybe analyze the use of different alternative teaching methods through hybrid points of view in between practice and theory as well, that aims to bring to life ideal projects in real context. And we are here because Seppie aims at creating a model over there, both in approach and in practice, for establishing kind of innovative projects there in Belmont and Calabro, but also potentially in all rural and marginal areas. It is important probably to remind people that are with us right now that Belmont is one of the many southern villages where the topic of migration is so fundamental in two different and overlapping ways. People are leaving the town, looking for other places to work or to live, but also migrating people coming from Africa. They are approaching those towns like Belmonte. And there is a potentiality over there. It's a wonderful laboratory, in my opinion, also for architecture, but not only, of course, but for the arts, for anthropological studies, for social studies. It's great that architecture took this occasion years ago and tries to also reflect on the importance that education might have in this very context. So it's an important mission, don't you think?
I mean, I think what's quite interesting about it is at the beginning, you're absolutely right. We were very much interested in bringing in the refugees and creating new homes for them. But what we realized throughout the project is that our students themselves become part of this new community and attracted, you know, through the activities which happened in Belmonte, other young people, you know, outside from our university, from Italy, but even from other places in the world. So to a certain extent, probably all being migrants, but for different reasons. And I think that's quite interesting because you're right, on the onset, I think the idea was to welcome newcomers, mainly from Africa, to maybe settle there, as you have seen in other places in Italy, Riace, and there are other examples. But yeah, very soon we realized actually it's a place where other young people, you know, from Europe want to move as well.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I think we noticed something that you mentioned, which in a way is very obvious, and that is the demography of the town is around about 50, 52 or so. And so on one hand, they have many skills, but on the other hand, some of the young people coming onto the shore have other kinds of skills, and they certainly have strength and, you know, they're able to have a lot of energy as well. So it was, I think some of our concern was about how you reconcile those two things to actually bring a town together that then had a kind of a wide demography of people and a wide demography of skill, and a, you know, wide demography of kind of interests as well. And I think that was one of the things that we were really interested in thinking about, and how does one go about sort of perhaps stitching some of those things together in a way.
Yeah, there is an alchemy which is possible there. Nicolas, what do you think about it? Or maybe Giuseppe, you all know the place very well, but I'd like to listen from you.
No, I'm sure, yeah, everything changed in the last 2 years. Of course, we had the idea to create a space for people who were involved in the project, students, but not just students, professionals, migrants, people from everywhere. In fact, the first step of the project in the Gaza was called collaboration. Collaboration. It became a space where we could spend more time, organize, also met, which already had the idea of the different, it's a program of residency in Belmonte that should be more than one time, you know. So we had the possibility to also to organize more residencies in Belmont for our community. So we started making new having another so the project had another sense. Also the idea that we can be here for longer time changed a lot the idea of working as a part of the community of Belmont. So it changed a lot. After the COVID situation, also the students from Metropolitan University, the London Metropolitan University, decided to come here and stay for 3 months, more than 3 months, some of them. So it also become a way. So here, what I found here also as if I'm part of the team, of the project as a professional, I really found here so such an amount of layers of interest in doing things. The first one is really exchange experience with other professionals and people in general who come here just to stay here. I mean, last time just for work as a in smart working, for example. So here, the Belmont become a place where people just come to share time and work with people. So this is already really very important for me and for everybody who's now really is involved in the project. Is a big aspect of it. Of course, we are continuously working on the, to expand the sense of the project. So it's constantly, everything here is constantly under evaluation, and we are like processing ourselves, and the project continuously processing to find the way. Also the construction follows this. For example, we are working. We are programming the construction following the what we need for real. The residency is such an experiment to understand where to go with construction. We are also our construction is not like a bigger idea of construction in intervention. It's really adaptive. So we just like go inside the space, we build the floor, we build the suppliers, we stay, and the place can host other people, can host other activities. So it's not, we are continuously following what the people needs in terms of like expand the sense of live here for people.
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear, Giuseppe, what you are saying, and it's clear also how many questions arise that you are trying to interpret. This is probably a reason why we are here in this meeting, and you invited people from different areas, but all involved somehow in educational practices. I agree with you when you were saying that our schools, the School of Architecture you studied in, the school I studied in as well, they were indicating to us typical models, and students had to replicate that model, or at least interpret it in a personal manner, but all the same. Here, in this condition, you are exploring the possibility for a different practical architecture education, and other people are doing similar things, and that's why we are confronting here with Nicolas and the other friends that are participating. It seems to me that, by the way, you were saying that I'm in between the academic approach and not academic approach. You're right as well, but I'm mostly academic, even though I dislike the academic approach, or at least the worst part of the academic approach, which is practiced in many universities, most of them in Italy, as far as I know. When I started teaching at California State University, Florence, more than 20 years ago, I entered a place where that kind of academic approach was there, but with an idea of openness that was given by Cristiano Toraldo di Francia and Gianni Pettena, who were teaching over there. That inspired me a lot. From that point on, I never stopped reflecting on the importance of having different directions for the architectural education. I cannot experience them all because I'm not in Belmont, which is a great laboratory for those things, for the reasons that we said. but I'm definitely oriented towards this idea. And it seems to me that more in general, in recent years, many educational institutions have chosen to seek alternative points and paths to those of a more established academic tradition. On the one hand, for instance, the awareness that the world is changing is there. But on the other, also sometimes market requirements that are connected to the fact that university teaching and education are increasingly driven by economic needs that often suggest universities to look for other directions. But most of times, let me tell you, this thing is not working at all. So I'm definitely curious to know what might happen from a total bottom-up approach, the way you are trying to understand it might happen in Belmont. What do you think about this?
I can respond. No, I think it was great because I came a little bit yesterday. We had time to chat around the table last night and already about this topic, and I was sharing my own experience. With Giuseppe, where I said, like, what I really feel is that having done this kind of project like self-build, where we're testing material, testing spaces, testing infrastructure to engage with the public, to engage with live project, and I really enjoyed it, you know, as building a character. And nowadays, obviously, at some point, you know, all that academical knowledge, that the amazing academic knowledge I gathered through my studies before, and also, you know, seeing others, you know, practicing architecture. I said at some point, you know, you use all this experience, and recently I've been working in London with quite a lot of charity who create project like from the bottom up, and I could find that this experience of this live project for many years helped me to understand them more, because the way these usually like these community groups that comes up with a project, they have ambitions, they've got an idea, they've got amazing ideas, but they don't know how to take it. At some point, as an architect, you arrive with this very different clients, and all of them are so different because it's a group of people from a community who got the idea to bring together a project to have a community room, for example, or developing a wider project or a community cafe. And I had the feeling that all this experience allowed me to be more flexible in my thinking about approaching these clients and helping them to articulate their project, so it can, because the architectural kind of a process is still very structured, you know, from a legal point of view, the way, you know, planning and all, the way you deliver places for.
Okay, Marco, I've got to go actually, but there's one thing that I wanted to say, which maybe add to the conversation, is that I think certainly with our university, there's a difficulty in measuring the value of these projects, and I think it would be good to try and think of ways which would be able to give that measurement. I mean, I think they're also, one of the things that is kind of very important about projects, and I think it was mentioned earlier, is that they're slow. And because they're slow, it means that they're gathering lots of interest and lots of opinion, and there's a lot of debate around what happens to what they're doing. But I think both of those things are actually important. One is the slowness, and the other is about how one measures these things. How do you measure the value of these things, given that they're taken over a very long period of time, and they necessarily involve many parties that put these together. So I'm sorry, I've lost Rita and them, but I just thought maybe I could just leave that with you.
I definitely agree with you, Jane. I like a lot this idea of giving a value to an architecture project, or at least to an educational project, to slowness. And time is a value in itself, don't you think?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Also time which is wasted sometimes. So you need a space and you need a place to waste your time sometimes in order to better focus on ideas, or to find out the occasion to share your trouble with somebody else, instead of having a mission which is addressing your mind all the time towards a destination point.
I mean, there's this constant battle in architecture in England between, you know, whether it's a science or whether it's an art. And whereas, you know, in a commercial world, it's very easy to measure the technology as a product of something. But the other side of things, it's very, very difficult to quantify. And these projects particularly cite themselves in the area of the arts, because it is necessarily a kind of social endeavor.
Yeah, I think we talked as well about artist in residence, which is, you know, very much what the students started doing when they moved to Calabria. And there you already have this thing, yeah. It's called artist in residency, and yeah, it's the artist who usually has maybe more time, hangs out, you know, gets inspired, and then knows what to do. The architect usually delivers a service, and I think we are moving away from this. There is a time frame, there is a money, you know, a given kind of a budget, but our students are doing something else. They have more time. There is no budget, usually. And yeah, what can you do with more time and no budget, instead of, you know, you need to deliver a project by that deadline with a specific budget which exists. So that's quite different, expanding probably what an architect does. So Jane is leaving, so I say bye.
Ciao, Jane.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, bye, Jane. Can I ask a question to Rita? Rita, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello? Can you hear?
Okay. Okay, good. Now, I know you are there, even though we are not putting questions to you because you are not among the main speakers, but you are there everywhere because you originated all of that. So I'd like to ask you something since years, I would say, because I know you in particular, you studied some parts of the radical architecture movement, so you know what alternative directions were at the time and what alternative methods might be today. So since this academy, not academy, is searching for alternatives to education, to architecture today, what is alternative today in the context that offers many possibilities to students, usually for pay, sometimes not. But what is alternative today for students?
Well, it's a good question.
It's a big question, don't worry. Yeah, take your time. You
know.
may have a coffee and come back if you like.
I know, it's okay. Well, it's difficult in a way that I think what happened, Belmont started because I was studying at London Met. We were studying a lot of it because it was a group of us. Then I was the only one from Calabria, but we were a group of students at London Met who came here, and the idea was to experiment, to kind of experiment like just outside the formality of the academia, so to have something that we can doing by just without not be worried about the output, but be more into the process and to do it by doing it. Then the famous learning by doing. I don't know if so. For me, it was sort of not. I mean, in my own experience, that's alternative because obviously, like I had this. I guess I had this this way of thinking because of the professor, the tutors I met through my education. And I always remember, since second year, as I said, I never want to be an architect. So, and actually, when we arrived in Belmont, we decided to call Orizzontale for our first project because for us, they had already experience in building, in designing, something that we couldn't do on our own, because then one side was the academia. So Sandra J was really important in understanding how to setting up students, how to follow them, how to teach them, and the other side, Orizzontale, was more about how you really take care of a space, how you improve it, how you make it open to new people, and this mix was really good in terms of how the project grows without us knowing early. For us, was not going to be that long. For us, was supposed to be when we were students with Matteo, only 1 week of summer school, and then suddenly it become 5 years. We're still here, and with the main team plus new professional, new people, new participants, and people that also start to feel like this is something they want to invest with, which is not only architecture. But it's nice. I think what is important is everything starting from architecture. So there are a few different projects in Italy mainly. I could say, I don't know, in the other side, that are reactivated this marginal area through different events, festivals, schools, action. But few of them are starting from architecture itself. And I guess this is also something I think because it was this mix of London University architecture faculty and a collective from architecture profession. And I don't know if this answers your question actually, but I guess this could be seen as a sort of alternative maybe. Yeah. Also because of like, I don't know, maybe this is a good way of answering. Like this winter when we were locked down here, the student from London met. The casa that now is basically a home, not only a space that we live in. And we had only 3 rooms, and it was a big hall. Obviously, there was supposed to be the lift, and it was super cold. There was no, the window was still half open, and and the student needed a small place that they can be private to do their talks, and they started to set up a little room that was completely unfurnished to have at least a private space. And so this room started to look like a room because it was a table, it was a fridge, it was a lamp, it was an electrical cooking. It was very, you could tell, was very vernacular, let's say. And then Giuseppe arrived, and he was a month with us, and he decided to just make this room more function. So in 3 days, they built the floor, they built the table, they built a proper table, and they put the proper electricity. And then it's weird. I mean, it's alternative in a way that we are used to have a prototype house where people go, and this is something that reminds me also radicals or something, a super studio, like you have to set up your own space by your needs. It's not the architecture need to tell you how to live a space. So even if them were very utopic, I guess in this laboratory we are sort of going in the same direction, but in a more in a smaller scale, in a more practical way, I guess.
Thank you, Rita. I'm pretty sure that all your friends are sharing a similar interpretation of the term alternative, but I wonder if they want to add some further notes on a personal side to say what is alternative for them today in education.
I think I wanted to react. Yeah, I'll probably answer that in some way. But I think what I discovered when I came here, and I think that I could see this idea where the way they're refurbished and even the design of what's been done is it's like a blank canvas, and the design of what Horizontale did and everyone builds and designed at the same time. It's only a wooden floor, and then that material goes around the doors. There's no doors, so you can, you frame a sort of empty space. So it's a sort of infrastructure that is open for anyone to, as you said, now there's a group of people who come that they take over. Oh, there's an empty space, there's an empty room there, which is let's add a bit of furniture. So you can see that apart from the kitchen, which was a defined function that needs to be part of the infrastructure, the rest is a blank canvas. So where the post-it can come on a space, and then maybe in a month that room will be something else. It can be a cinema, it could be. But I think I mentioned one of my questions is that when I came here, I said, like, but in Italy, in your history, you have the centro sociale autogestivo, no? And I think autogestivo, no? Yeah. What do you say? We're protecting the wood. Autogestivo. It's a digestivo. Okay. And I was just asking, is it? I think this feels like I worked in Venice with a group who were running, and we kind of took over this with this group of local architecture students.
Okay, it's us again.
Okay.
Now, I think the
a very colorful place, by the way.
Absolutely. Marco mentioned the annex. Oh, no, they're back. They're back. No, yeah, we can hear you.
When the screen goes, we can hear you. It's just the camera is over.
Ah, okay. It's just the camera. Good to know. But we can't hear you when the camera stops. So you need to.
Okay, sorry about that, but
no. So I was just.
I remember for you British, I do remember that also in the George Dunning's movie about the yellow submarine, sometimes color enter the frame, and you can not do anything against it. Yeah. That's it.
No, but we were talking about, Nicolas was talking about his experience in Venice. I don't know if you hear us, because sometimes you just...
No, the history, and I think it would be interesting to explore the connection, because actually lots of the people in this village, that, you know, they're the generation who knew what it was, probably. I don't know if there was a centro sociale somewhere in the area. I hear that was the reference.
In Cosenza, maybe, in the main city.
In the main city. But I think it's quite interesting, not as to describe that, but I feel it's a new interpretation of that 50 years ago form of providing a space for the community to engage with cultural matters, social matters, economical matters as well. Where the market or the state changes to reach everyone.
I think the main thing is that we are not against. Sometimes we are less against than in the past. Okay. I mean, this kind of centro sociale is correct. It's not to be described as a centro sociale, probably, but really against something. And
so that's the way you perceive it now. Is that it was a confrontational movement, political movement, and which you don't want to adhere to this form of intervention of the centro sociale.
No. It's something, it's in Roma, for example. Centro sociale is a protagonist.
Again.
Can you hear us?
It's a very unconventional kind of sunset.
Sometimes centro sociale can also become an island.
Okay. Yeah.
Very close.
Okay.
We are not close. We don't want to be close.
No. Sure.
And what I think, I'm thinking after your comment is that maybe what could be alternative in academic is not really alternative probably, but it's open. It is to open new windows, like Metropolitan University does here, for example, in Belmont. Belmont can be also a window where to see other aspects of academic education. For example, it's also about aesthetics sometimes, because also we have to change the idea of the aesthetics sometimes. So which kind of aesthetic, what has to be, something like that. But it's also more important to focus on and see from through the window the street, the people, the relation between people, how, as you said before, how manage this aspect, how to be confident with this.
Okay, that's true, but I have listened something that raised some further consideration in my mind during your presentations, which is, yeah, of course, we are looking for alternative methods. That always happened in architecture education, because architecture is, or at least should be aware that the world is constantly changing. So, of course, awareness should help and address search for alternative methods and alternative ideas. But today, the world is changing so fast, and many things are happening at the same time that we cannot easily incorporate them into a true educational program. So it's a matter of finding the right alternatives and the right methods that might really allow a school of architecture, or at least a potential school of architecture, to be effective in its program. That's why I'm curious. Probably you are in the place where many further discussion may be offered on a political level, on a sociological level, talking about the main topics, because architecture should take care of that. I'm sure you are already doing so, but I'm dreaming about Belmont to be the place for that. What do you think about it?
Maybe we can ask the people who have been.
Yeah, maybe.
Or been here this week, or I don't know. Like, you want to say something? No, maybe this is too straight. No, maybe not. Or Nicolas, or Sandra that knows the place, but more. Can you hear us?
Yes. Yeah, try again, please.
No, I don't know if maybe they think a bit more, if they want to participate also to this question of their experience, or maybe for anyone else. And Sandra knows a bit more the place as well. So
I'm not really sure what the last question was, but we kind of went around. But maybe I want to just say one thing, because Giuseppe mentioned maybe we are also teaching an aesthetic, and I agree with him. I mean, the casa in itself has a certain aesthetic, but I think we are less interested in an aesthetic than in teaching a methodology. And if we're talking about teaching, then I think I feel that we should more and more move away from the word teaching, but rather use the word learning, because I feel as though I'm a tutor, I feel like I'm learning with the students. I'm less teaching them. Maybe, yes, there is teaching a methodology, but then at the same time, I feel like, you know, there is something which, and maybe that's the secret to this project, where we are all curious about how things can be done, about learning new things. So I don't feel in a position where I'm just teaching and the students are learning, but I feel like, you know, the students are also teaching me something. I'm learning something from them, and maybe the same way the other way around.
Yeah, that's good. I completely agree with this, Sandra. When I speak about the aesthetic, maybe I'm talking about how to get at that point with such an uncertain process, making the possible to catch the all possibilities you have during maybe the week of the.
Yes.
So everything changes. It's changing with the construction.
Yeah.
It's something like related to the bigger aspect of what you can do. The kind of the potential of the that you can have, or you can see through also when you interact with maybe with, for example, our relation now with Franco or Gennaro can be, it's also something that we built in the past because we had no economy, so such small economy. So our aim was to find more synergy between people, and it's also this kind of see the possibility of something become a sort of aesthetic. So aesthetic just follow the potential of our relation in the city.
Yeah. I mean, I think you remember, Giuseppe, when we started the first time working together, we discussed with you what was the methodology, and you actually had designed some kind of frames, which were metal frames, and then we had some timber elements, and it was quite interesting because it felt to me that, you know, it felt to me that the outcome could be anything, but in reality you had designed the frames quite specifically, that there is a certain experimental element to it, how the students and the community could put the timber onto the frames. But, you know, there was a framework. The frames in themselves gave a certain framework for experimentation. Not everything was possible. And that's probably similarly in the Casa, yeah, we usually, what do we have? We have a lot of reclaimed material, which we are reusing, yeah, it's stones from the quarry, timber elements we have maybe used in a different project before. And yes, you can experiment with that, and there is a lot of unexpected outcome, but at the same time, not everything is possible. We don't have gold. There's certain elements or certain materials are not there. That means, you know, there is a certain framework within which one can experiment. I think that's the beauty of it, but also the experimentation of it. That you, with your hands, try things out and see what fits and what you can do. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Rita, do you think that we also give the mic to some participants over there, or meaning the audience, or maybe somebody, if it is possible, I don't know. It is.
Yes, I mean, if they.
Maybe to listen from the direct voice of people who are there, what is happening, what they are doing, or what they are in trouble with.
Well, yes, I mean, there are a few of them, but I don't know if they,
Okay.
Yeah, come from maybe maybe we have a volunteer.
By the way, making this gentle move, Nicolas revealed a chair which is supposedly part of a previous workshop. Am I right?
We inaugurate the wood.
Yeah. So that's chair. Nice skill framework.
It's just something that came to my mind when you made the can you hear me?
Please, yes, please speak louder towards the microphone. You are allowed to say anything that is contrasting what we said until this very moment.
I wanted to say something about the comparison you made before with the Centro Sociale.
Okay.
I think here, this building before, it was also like a place where people would come, would work, would share knowledge somehow. And I think in the past, in the small villages, here in the south of Italy, but everywhere, there were like a practice of sharing knowledge, of teaching, of I was saying that place as it could be like a Centro Sociale today or yesterday or like in recent times. But maybe like if we go a bit more in the past, if we change a bit location, that we would find places where that were more open, and it's maybe more what you are now trying to do to bring back to experience again. And yeah, and then of course I enjoyed very much these days here in the casa, and yes.
What's your name?
Yes, my name is Julia. I came.
No. Okay, we missed the second part. We only know that you are Julia.
Yes.
Could you repeat it, please? Because you were disconnected.
Okay, so my name is Julia, and I was following the Seppie since some time. Then I came to visit Belmont last year, where nothing was happening in that specific moment. But then I decided to participate this year because I was very curious about what's happening here,
Thank you.
This project. And it, you're also from Calabria. I'm also from Calabria. I'm from Brizzi. I was born in Rome and raised there.
Unfortunately, power of color.
I mean, she's definitely. Oh, they're back. Yeah.
Yes, so I'm one of those people that say who wishes that something like that would happen in Calabria, as I'm originally from here, and I really appreciate this experience, this project, and I'm interested in.
And we all hope it will be possible for us to join you sooner or later, as well as the larger students communities, because it might be a great experience to be there. Okay, I don't know if Rita or Giuseppe, they want to say something in the end of this conversation, since the sunset is there.
Yeah, of course, the aim is to expand the sense of the project. Of course, we are really we also aspect by this experience of residencies. I'm very happy that Nicolas. I'm really happy that Nicolas is a new resident in Belmont, is part of the community now, and of course also about all people involved in the project in the week, the last week. And for us, it's also a moment to understand how the project can grow in terms of in this kind of educational aspect, more scientifically, you know. Right. So every suggestion. So also, but I wanted to say to ask to Julia, what do you think about your experience in terms of the education? Yeah, or what you will. It's a very common question, maybe it's very serious, but what you will bring with you or something.
It's a good one. Thank you, Giuseppe.
Definitely, I would say the interdisciplinarity, because I think in architecture education we're very much concentrated on one of, I mean, except studies of the territory or urbanism, but maybe I don't know. Now I'm doing. I joined a workshop about communication. I joined a workshop where we were talking with people from Belmont, from the areas around, so engaging more into social interaction as well. So opening a bit more to the experience. Yes, so I would say that the academy, the academic world should open a bit more to the environment, to the other people, especially in architecture that are not involved in architecture, but bring their input, their contribution. And even us as architects should engage more in other disciplines as well. I believe in general the interdisciplinarity, and also I would say as a person, like having other interests that could nourish as well our practice. Definitely interesting.
Grazie. Oh, really?
I mean, maybe, yeah, they're back, but I think the interdisciplinarity is a really important one. I think the project really has created a platform where different professions are interested in collaborating. So for architecture, it's a great opportunity. So myself, I think it was 2 years ago, I teamed up with academics from psychology and mental health, which was really interesting because they thought this is a really interesting project in order to do some research on the mental health of mainly refugees as well, and how they can be integrated through, you know, collaborating on such a project through positive experiences on their arrival. And this interest really, you know, they saw the project and they came to us in that way. So I think, yeah, the project really offers a lot in terms of, yeah, working with other disciplines. So I always call it a platform probably for collaboration.
No, to say that, first of all, Marco, so you are the only one missing here as a temporary resident. Can you hear me? No.
No, could you repeat it, please?
That you're the only one that haven't been to Belmont, even if you follow us in 2018.
Yeah, but I am dreaming about it, as I said, and Belmont is really Belmondo for me. So and you know, Belmondo, unfortunately, we had the occasion to talk about it. This name. And Belmondo is also resuming an idea of diversity because, you know, Jean-Paul Belmondo has been celebrated as an ideal of easygoing freedom in a way, no? The ability to generate a new wave of something, to inspire new generations, to let them dream, by the way. So I think you should welcome Jean-Paul Belmondo as I don't know, as a symbol. I don't know if you like it or dislike it, but it is why not?
You share your screen.
But it's a bel mondo that I really like to visit and to participate in, of course. Yeah. So please wait for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you said Belmondo because this is also a proof of like how within La Rivoluzione, Seppie, the different discipline works together, parallel, and then they meet because this is the name came out from our communication group during a workshop, which is also very important in our project. And so it's always good to find a way of, even without talking to each other at the beginning, what this looks like, but then we kind of influenced by living in the same place, sharing ideas and vision, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So thank you.
So we will follow the dream and thank you, everybody.
It's always here.
No, thank you very much because this is the first occasion to speak about seriously about the academy, not academy, which is you know, all of you know that it's a big project we want to develop in the next year, but we still have to understand what to do in terms of content and also continue to process ourselves to make this possible. So thank you very much. This is also the first event in the garden.
In the garden. So you've been our caveat. That's why we had some issue, but we're gonna get
Thank you.
No, scherzavo, scusate, volevo fare una regia, perdonatemi. Ci siamo. Vi sento o vi vedo?
We're here.
We're here.
Yeah, we couldn't see you.
We could so like Sandra, you haven't seen the garden.
No, I want to.
That's
That's at the end. I would like to see it. Can you not direct the camera to show us what you've been building?
We can't hear you.
You cannot hear me, or can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Can you direct the camera to show us what you've been? Love to see it.
Ci provo,
There's
però.
a fire on the right.
I think.
Okay.
We make, no, because we tried and everything kind of switched off, so we needed a.
We will look at the pictures. Don't worry.
Sorry about that.
But you're coming soon, no? The London Met is coming soon.
Yeah, so we are planning to come again end of October. It isn't set in stone yet. You know, with COVID and so on, one makes plans and sometimes one needs to be flexible, but the plan is to come end of October again. Yeah.
We are thinking to continue the garden into the street.
Yes, that's the plan. Yeah.
Okay. To the sea. Anyway, sorry. Thank you and everything, and we see
Ciao,
soon.
Sandra,
Ciao,
grazie.
Marco.
Thank you, Marco. Good to know,
Thank
to get
you,
to know you,
everybody.
Marco. Great.
Keep doing by learning.
Yes,
Bye.
well done. Thank you, Marco.